Hello, everyone, and welcome to Old School Essentials Against the Slavers. We are playing with the Gauntlet online gaming community. My name is Mike. My pronouns are he, him, and I will be our GM tonight. Or, I'm sorry, I'll be our Dungeon Master tonight because, hey, we're playing Old School Essentials. Sorry, making a quick note here. So a little bit about the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is an online role-playing gaming community. We have, well, I think, a couple of hundred members at this point. We run about 100 games a month on a public calendar that are free and open to anyone to join. The Gauntlet also runs a podcast network. We have a daily blog. We have internet forums. We also publish a award-winning bi-monthly newsletter called Codex, which has information about which focuses on indie games, story games, and the OSR. So if you're interested in learning more about the Gauntlet, check us out at gauntlet-rpg.com. Like I said, my name is Mike. And I'm going to be the GM here. A little bit about myself. I've been playing tabletop role-playing games for a long time. I started when I was a kid in middle school back in 1981, playing basic Dungeons and Dragons. The D&D Basics set, the Tom Moldvay edition, was what I cut my teeth in. And the game we are playing today, Old School Essentials, is a retro clone. This is a modern recreation of the 1981 Tom Moldvay Basic and Expert edition of Dungeons and Dragons. So if you had the old D&D rules cyclopedia from like back in the 80s, that is rules equivalent to the Old School Essentials Classic Fantasy tome. The nice thing about Old School Essentials is it's got modern design, it's got modern layout, it's a much slicker package, it's much easier to use at the table, and they fixed a lot of the typos and errors that were in the original game. So this is a way to like get an old-fashioned D&D experience using a modern game. And of the retro clones, OSE is definitely my favorite. So I played a lot of D&D in the 80s. I played mostly GURPS in the 90s. I played mostly D&D 3rd edition in the aughts. And then didn't care for 4th, so my group switched to Pathfinder, so we played that for a while. And I always played a few other games here and there. I played a lot. I played some Champions. I played Traveler. I played Amber Diceless Role-Playing. I played a lot of Call of Cthulhu. But in 2015, my Pathfinder group broke up, and I fell into a group that was playing this like weird little hippie indie game called Dungeon World. And Dungeon World broke my brain in a good way. And I've been playing, I won't say exclusively, but I've been playing mostly indie games and a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse games since then. That really seems to be indie games really synergize with my typical GM style, but it's really fun getting back, kind of going back to the basics. So enough about me. Let's go around the table. Let's go clockwise around as I have your lovely faces on my screen here. So Tim, would you please introduce yourself?
Yep, Tim. My pronouns are he, him. I am playing Calf, a fighter, kind of straight ahead, kick down the door fighter type. And yeah, I've been with the Gauntlet for about a year. Going back to high school, like I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and then with other things coming up in life, I, lost the meaning of life, meaning I didn't really play role-playing games for a while. And then when the pandemic hit, I realized, like, you know what, the best way to go through this is going to be to get back into playing role-playing games. And so I did, and I was very lucky to find the Gauntlet, and yeah, it's been wonderful. I feel like I've played a lot of games with Mike, and they've all been great, and this one is no exception. And it's, yeah, I actually inspired to pick up a copy of the book. and it's a great system. And my son, who I play a lot of 5th edition with, I was just talking to him today about like, well, let's start like a sandbox old school essentials campaign. And he was super excited about that. So yeah, anyway.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tim and I we've played a lot. We've played in a number of games in the past year or two on the Gauntlet, and it's always I was very happy to see that you had signed up for this one. So I've always had a blast playing with you. So I'm glad to have you aboard. Anya, would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Anya. My pronouns are she, her, and I am playing Caldas the Barbarian. I've been playing with the Gauntlet since, I think, November. Well, since last Gauntlet OpenCon. And my first game, actually, I played with Mike, which was Hearts of Wallin. It was really, really fun to play along with you. I'm not much of I don't consider myself much of an OSR gamer, but the more I look at my collection, the more I realize a lot of the games I really, really like are sort of OSR. So I was interested in trying old school essentials as well, because I am interested kind of in the history of the hobby and that sort of stuff. So I'm very excited to be here.
Well, fantastic. Glad to have you aboard. And for those who have been watching our series on old school Ascensions, this is Anya's first time with us tonight, and we're super glad to have her aboard. Ben, would you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, I'll introduce myself. For those who have decided to start watching this series with episode 8, welcome. There's 7 more episodes before that. But my name is Ben. My pronouns are he, him. Also, Moldvay kid. I've been playing for 40 years or so with big freezing in the middle, with big hibernation somewhere in the middle. But I started with old school, and now still doing a lot of old school with things like Warhammer Fantasy Role Play that I GM every week. And I've only played, this is my second game with the Gauntlet, but I really appreciate the community. And I am playing today Baroon, the Dwarven Gladiator. So it sounds like we have a group of intellectuals going down in the dungeon today, between the Barbarian, the no-nonsense warrior, and the Gladiator.
Fantastic. So we do have 2 other players in this. I'm sorry, we have 1 other player in this group who can't be with us this week. Jim Crocker plays Zalazaz the Sporadic, our wizard. So we're going to be bringing Zal along as an NPC. We also have 1 other character that's going to be with us that was created and played by a player throughout this series that unfortunately can't play this night anymore. Had a change in job hours, so he had to pull out of this game, which is too bad. But he was playing Clintock Stump Jumper, the halfling thief and cleric of Brandabaris, the god of the halflings. So we are going to be bringing Zal and Clintock with us for the rest of this adventure, at least as non-player characters. And Ben and Tim have volunteered to play those characters for us. So those are the 2 NPCs we've got with us for now. So let's talk a little bit about. So again, this is the 8th game in a series. I'll just really go over Cats here. Cats is just to make sure that we're all here to play the game, or to play the same game. So Cats is a little exercise that stands for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. It's kind of like the elevator pitch of the game, just to make sure that we're all really here to play the same thing. So the concept of this game is we're going to kick it old school. The concept was to go back and play a classic Advanced Dungeons and Dragons series. So we are playing Dungeon Module A2, Secret of the Slavers Stockade, which was published in 1981. It was who was this written by? Yeah, this was written by Harold Johnson and Tom Moldvay. Moldvay of the designer of the BX edition of Dungeons and Dragons. And it was actually Jim who can't be with us tonight. Jim was the person who suggested that I do this, and as he was saying, so he can take the so he can take the awards and or the blame for how this game is going. But I've been really having a blast with this. So the concept was to run an old school adventure game using old school rules. So the aim is, so the concept of this adventure is it's the classic A series against the Slavers. So it's I'll get into the backstory of this a little bit, but you're fighting a bunch of bad guys that are abducting people and selling them into slavery. So yeah, about as bad as you can get. So the aim is to have fun kicking it old school. This is it's a lot. It's going to be a lot of dungeon crawls. It's going to be a lot of weird early editions of the the weird dungeon design and the oddball crazy complex traps. The aim is to just enjoy the old school weirdness of playing a 40-year-old module. The tone is hey, this is old school D&D. This stuff gets a little gonzo at times. I want to try to keep a veneer of seriousness, but it's a D&D game, so things are definitely going to get silly. I'd kind of appreciate maybe keeping the Monty Python references to a minimum, but again, it's a D&D game. They're almost inevitable. And the subject matter. I'm going to talk a little seriously about this one because this one doesn't involve. So it's right there on the title. This game does involve slavery. These are bad guys that are basically they're pirates and marauders that are just attacking coastal towns and rounding everybody up and sailing off with them as human chattel. You all are here to put a stop to that and to free as many of the captives as possible. That is the concept, aim, tone, and subject matter of this game. Do we have any questions before we move on? Okay. Next thing I'd like to talk about is safety and the safety practices we've got. So over on the journal section in Roll20, underneath where it says characters, there's a section called handouts, and there is a button there that says safety and resources. There's a hyperlink there that's going to go out to a Google Sheets page with our safety and resources and some other general notes that Roll20 doesn't really handle so well. So if you could go over there, and is everyone on that safety and resources sheet? Okay, cool. So we're going to be using 3 safety tools or safety practices. So we're a bunch of strangers or near strangers that are getting together over the internet to play a game of formalized make-believe. Each of us individually is more important than this game we're playing. The point of a game is to have fun, and safety tools allow us to focus on the fun and to put the not so fun stuff aside. When we play role-playing games, we are regularly, we're regularly putting our own emotions on the line. We're living vicariously through our characters and experiencing things, experiencing fictional situations that our characters are going through. All of our lives, all of us have different sets of life experiences, and what might be just fine for me might not be so good for you. And things that you might have no problem with whatsoever, I might have a big problem with. So with safety tools, we're going to be using, this is a way to put some bounds around things that we just don't want to deal with, and also to have some other agreed upon practices that we can bring into play where if we go into places you don't really want to go, it's a way that we can all take a step back, have a discussion, and remove the problematic elements and move forward. We're taking a layered safety approach here. So the first one I want to talk about is open door, and open door means any of us Open door means, we are all free to come and go as we please. Life happens. If you need to step away for really any reason at all, step away. I mean, this is just a game. If you need to take a bio break, if you need to get a glass of water, if your dog jumped up on the dining room table and you need to chase him off, or if the FedEx guy came to the door and you need to sign for a package, yeah, that's real life. That's more important than a game. Go ahead and do that. If you need to take a break, anyone can call a break at any time. If you need to step away, just say, hey, we need to call a break, and we'll call a break. Speaking of breaks, this isn't exactly open door, but I'm probably going to call a break. I try to call a break. This is set to be a 3-hour game. I usually, for longer games, I try to break like at the top of every hour. I think I'll probably call about a 10-minute break at about the halfway mark. And if anyone needs to break sooner than that, we can certainly do that. Questions? Oh, and finally, if you realize after we've been playing that this game really isn't for me, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be, and I don't really want to play this anymore, that is absolutely fine. If you decide that this game isn't for you, you can. There's no harm, no foul in saying that, hey, I'm not having fun. This game isn't for me. I'm going to go do something else, which is cool. Life's too short to play games you don't like. Any questions about Open Door? The next set of tools we're going to be using are called Lines and Veils. This is a proactive safety tool where we can call out subjects that we either don't want to deal with at all, or that we can acknowledge are there, but we want to treat with kid gloves. A line is a subject that it just won't happen in the game. I won't introduce it. The other players won't introduce it. It's just not going to happen. Since I am running a published adventure, there may be times when a lined subject might be in the book, in which case I will do my best to just kind of like edit things on the fly so that it doesn't happen. So a line won't happen. A veil is a subject that we can acknowledge happens in the game world. We may see signs that it has happened. We might hear reports of it happening. Or it may be happening, but we don't want to see it, so we just kind of like cut away, fade to black, move to the next scene. So again, if subject is veiled, we might see evidence of it, but we won't see it on camera. There's a third category that has been added to the Lines and Veils discussion in the past year or so, called Ask First, which means this is a subject that it might be okay to deal with, and you might be okay with dealing with it in some aspects and not in other circumstances. So, if we're going to approach an Ask First, we're going to have we'll take it out of game for a little bit, have a discussion to see what parameters we want to put around that before we introduce that subject. Otherwise, I may just treat it like a line. So I've got a number of categories here. I am going to pause the recording as if we need to have any questions, and then we will set our lines and veils. Okay, we have established our lines and veils. I have them on a stick note that is now floating at the top of all of my other screens, so I will hopefully not take my eye off of it. The final safety tool that we're going to be using is called the X card. The X card is our reactive tool, and that's the one we invoke when our other safety tools, when things got past our other safety tools. So the X card, when you invoke the X card, you're basically saying that there's something happening. There's something happening here that I am not comfortable with. That could be something that's happening in the game. Like, for example, I just realized that there's something I should have lined or veiled because I don't deal with this. I'm going to invoke the X card. I'm going to say, hey, I don't want to deal with this particular subject, to which case we say, oh, okay. And we'll then add it to the lines and veil list. Alternatively, it could be something minor, like I introduce an NPC and I give the NPC a name, and that NPC is the name of the bully that used to beat you up in 3rd grade, and you hate that name. Absolutely fine to like X card that and say, hey, I really object to this particular name. To which case I say, okay, well, we'll call him something else because this character doesn't exist. So yeah, so you can invoke the X card anytime something is happening in the game that just does that, that you don't like or that you don't want to deal with. And what that, you don't have to tell us why, but we do need to know what, so that we can go back in and make the change that needs to do, whether that's we'll just fast forward past and pick up the next scene, or we could rewind and replay the scene without the element that you had an objection to. And we'll make the change that needs to happen and then move forward with the game. I do want to call out a couple of things about the X card. It doesn't have to be things that happen in the game. If there's stuff that's happening between the players that's like that you don't like. For example, if someone is like regularly mispronouncing your name, or is regularly using the wrong pronouns, or is talking over you, please invoke the X card. We'll have an out of game discussion to address that behavior. I mean, we're all adults here, and if we're doing, I know if I'm doing something that, if I'm doing something that you're finding obnoxious, please tell me so that I can change my behavior, because I won't know otherwise. One other thing I like to call about it on the X card is if something has happened in the game and you're like, well, I don't really like that, but it's not that big a deal, so we'll just move to the next scene and I won't say anything. And then it happened again. It is absolutely 100% okay to invoke the X card on something that's already happened previously in the game. So I just want to say, just because you let something slide doesn't mean you have to let it slide again. So it's absolutely okay to X card something that you didn't X card the first time you saw it, or you didn't X card the first 2 times you saw it, or you didn't X card the first 3 times you saw it. Absolutely okay to use the X card there. Any questions on the X card? Okay. Finally, this isn't exactly a safety tool, but one thing I like to say is if something happens to me or to my internet connection, such that I suddenly disappear and don't come back for 10 minutes, assume if I've gone for 10 minutes and haven't tried to message you and let you know what's going on, I maybe lost power, maybe I lost internet. Maybe something happened in my real life that I immediately need to deal with. So if I leave and don't come back for 10 minutes, assume the game is over and take the rest of your night back. I wish I could say that's never happened, but it has. I have lost power twice thus far in my years of online gaming. Alrighty then, that concludes our safety discussion. Any questions before we move on? Okay, so quick recap of where we are. So this is Against the Slavers. This is the second module of Against the Slavers. So there have been a group of pirates, marauders, slavers who have been abducting people who live in coastal villages up and down this area. So the merchant princes had been just kind of paying them off. So well, I'm the merchant prince of this area. So, hey, if you don't attack these villages, here's some money to not attack my villages. Well, that worked for a few years, but the marauders were starting to get greedy, and they were happily taking the bribes and then doing the things that they were bribed not to do. So the merchant princes decided that we need to put a stop to these people once and for all. So they hired, but rather than like assembling a big navy and like attacking their ships or assembling an army and attacking the one city that they knew they kind of worked out of, they decided to use stealth, and they sent in a bunch of groups of adventurers to like do some groundwork to try to figure out what's going on. Your group has been one of the more successful ones. You found their stronghold in the ruined city of Highport, infiltrated their base there, found information about where their stronghold is, that they're kind of like grabbing all of these captives and the other things, centralizing them for further movement elsewhere. So you found a map to this place, brought it back to the merchant princes, who said, well, good job, paid you some money, and then offered you a new job, which was to go and infiltrate the stockade that these slavers had done, and to, again, try to put a stop to this, try to find more information about where this is, and to again free as many of these captives as you can. So this stockade was about a week's journey into the what was that, the High Scrab Hills. So you had a mostly uneventful journey there. So you scoped out this. So the party of so it was the party of Kaf, Baroon, Zalazaz, Clintock, and your acrobat Topaz scoped out this place, did a bunch of recon, came across an escaped captive whose name was Wilton, who was said he'd been abducted from his village like weeks or possibly months before, but he found a way out, and he told you what that way out was, and so you then went in the way that he had escaped from this place. And thus far, you have been you've infiltrated this place. It looks like thus far you haven't really raised an alarm. So looking back over at the map, and I'm going to share screen for our viewers at home. So this is a map of the Slavers Stockade. There had been a so Wilton, the captive woodsman, had basically lashed a rope to a window on the second story here by the curtain wall, threw it down into the ditch, and he said that this is a place that there's a lot of guards on the walls, but they didn't have a good line of sight there. So you climbed up into the guard post on the curtain wall, which was an abandoned guard post. You dealt with, you thought you might have seen signs that this area was haunted, and you decided you didn't want to mess with the ghosts, so you left. You made it to the parade ground, saw that the entranceway into the inner keep was partially blocked by mud and a stuck portcullis, and decided that you didn't want to go that way either. So you used your magical rope of climbing to go up to the third floor of the gatehouse, which was guarding the inner keep. You surprised the hell out of a bunch of hobgoblin guards who you killed under cloak of silence, so they couldn't raise the alarm. I'm sorry, hold on. I need to open door for just a sec. I will be right back. I am pausing the recording. So your party killed a bunch of hobgoblin guards in the third floor of the gatehouse. They were just kind of seemed to be like playing dice for money, and so you killed them under cloak of a magical silence spell. You propped up their bodies to make it look like they killed each other in a big melee because they thought someone was perhaps cheating at dice. And you then went. You then went down, dealt with some more guards in another room, dealt with some stable hands in a stable by posing as one of the commanders that you'd met and chasing them off. You then made your way into the main keep. You encountered some bizarre traps until finally you made it to this big room where a whole lot of captive humans were chained to walls, but they seemed to be under some sort of mental fog haze spell of some sort. While you were trying to figure out what was going on there, you were attacked by a weird monster, a cloaker, as well, I can't really see it, on the on the back cover of the module. Unfortunately, your companion Topaz, the acrobat, was enveloped by this thing and either suffocated or, in your attempts to free him, you had to beat this monster that was wrapped around it. This thing almost looked like a flying manta ray. in the fight, Topaz did not make it. And that is where we have left it. So I'm going to say, Anya, we're going to add you to the. We are going to add you to the group really, really soon. But I just want to. I'm just so we'll. We're going to add you to the group really soon, but I just want to have this this scene here with our existing characters. So we're here where this red dot is. I'm using that red dot on the map to indicate just where the party is. We're not doing tactical combat, so that's why we don't have like tokens on the board. We're doing the combat all theater of the mind. So even that, so you've killed this cloaker that unfortunately Topaz, your friend, died in the combat, and there doesn't seem to be a way to revive him. One other thing that was interesting was near this door that leads to the north on that one wall of this room, there is a hobgoblin guard, but he's sitting on the floor, kind of staring off into the middle distance, kind of like what all of the other humans are. So whatever was affecting the minds of these captives that were here, it also affected the guard.
And Zal used his mind reading to go into the mind of these people, right?
Oh, right, I forgot about that.
And he
Yes.
saw the hobgoblin attacking, storming from on horseback, right? And I'm forgetting what he saw from the humans.
Basically what Zal saw, what Zal has come to the conclusion of, for whatever reason, all of the people in this room are in kind of a waking dream state.
Yeah.
they're having dreams or nightmares of, perhaps, things they saw, perhaps even like traumatic events. But yeah, they're basically reliving memories.
And they're not restrained. They're not restrained. They're not having any weapon. Are there any marks of them having been restrained on their hands or anything like that? Do they look well fed? What shape are they in?
They're in okay shape. It does look like, I mean, looking at several of them, they are actually chained by wrist they are chained by manacles, like to a big iron ring that comes out of the wall. They've got they got like one manacle with a chain coming off of it. But other than that, they're pretty much just like sitting on these. And again, the way this works is like it almost looks like an amphitheater. There's like tiers of like stone benches basically, and these people, and there's got to be at least 2 or 3 dozen people in here, and they're just sitting or lying or sprawling on these stone steps. I mean, they're all wearing clothes, but it looks like they're wearing the clothes that they were wearing when they were captured. So a lot of their clothes are tattered and very dirty. As for, I mean, none of them look like they're starving, but they don't look like they're. So it looks like they are at least being fed.
So Baroon's gonna walk up to one of them and try to, or if depending on how the contraption is, the chain on the wall and everything, he's gonna try to basically free them. And I don't know if it's something that a blacksmith would need to do, or whether there seems to be a keyhole of some sort.
I will say that it does look like it does look like there are locks, so that the the manacles could be removed by a key or by picking the lock.
I approach the hobgoblin guard warily, looking for any sort of key ring on his belt.
He's got one. He's got a big old key ring on him.
Okay.
It's like run on his belt. You can see that I kind of imagine that he's kind of like sitting on the floor, leaning against the wall. I mean, he's got like a scimitar on the floor next to him. It's easily in reach, but he doesn't seem to be making any effort at all to move toward it. He's just sitting there staring off into the distance.
So with my foot, I'm gonna push his scimitar away, and then I'm gonna exchange a look with Calf, like, will you cover me, like raise your sword while I try to get those keys?
Yeah, I will stand at the ready. sword point poised to strike if need be.
And then warily try to get that key ring from the guard.
You are holding a ring of keys. He makes no effort to stop you.
I exchange a surprised look with Calf. And walk up to some of the keyholes. I'm assuming Clean Talk is probably trying to tend to whoever looks the most wounded or feverish or in bad shape.
None of them look. I mean, none of them look in particular. I mean, none of them look in great shape, but none of them look in particularly bad shape. They all seem to be more or less the same. They're all more or less well fed. They're all more or less uninjured. They're just in some kind of like lethargy or stupor.
I think we should see if it's something about the room itself, maybe kind of just to test, free one person and then kind of lead them out of the room, kind of back the way we came, to see if that kind of snaps them out of it.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm going to say yes. You quickly figure out that the hobgoblin's keys do undo the locks. It looks like there's probably only like 2 or 3 different locks, and once you've done a couple of them, so it's like one key does most of them.
Yeah, and
so
then
you can tell by looking at what kind of manacle they're wearing, like which of the keys. So it doesn't take too long to figure that out. So yeah, it's trivial to free them. You can help one up, and it just like, and the person it's almost like they're sleepwalking. You know, they do stand. If you do like help them up, they do stand, and you can kind of like point them in a direction, and they'll kind of like shuffle in a direction.
And Baroon's gonna shake one of them. He's probably standing. You know, I know it's kind of a bleacher type of thing, so he's probably standing on the bleacher to be at eye level with one of them. And he kind of grabs them by the shoulder. And he's like, "Wake up, man! You're free!"
You shake him, and he just like again stares blankly.
I think so. I'll position like one of the people's arms around my shoulders and kind of have my arm around them and just kind of like lead them back the way that we came, kind of back out into that hall.
Okay.
Just to see if taking them out changes their state at all.
Taking them out does not change their state, at least not immediately.
Okay.
Perhaps there's some kind of time delay. You don't really know.
Yeah, maybe I'll just kind of help them down and just have them kind of sit in that corridor for a minute.
Sure. Yeah, you can lead them in the corridor. If you want to lead them all the way back to that guard room, you could do that if you wanted to. But yeah, you can lead. You can lead several of them into that hallway if you want to.
Baroon's gonna unlock all of the handcuffs unless any of his comrades stop him. We've come here to free those captives. There's no point in delaying it. And then he gently is going to guide the hobgoblin if he is as susceptible to suggestion.
He is.
And bring him on one of those seats, and which look like a display or something for people to choose, right? And then he's gonna lock the
hobgoblin in. Okay. Yeah.
Hands and legs.
Yep. The hobgoblin makes absolutely no objection to this. I assume you take his weapons away as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's a door. There was a door to the north.
There is a door to the north. Yes.
Northwest. Okay. So Calf, Zal, Clintock. Is this our quarry? Are we here to save these people, or is there more to us, to our being here? Is there information we need to get from the slavers?
Well, I mean, you know this because you were at the meeting when you went back to the merchant princes. You are here to you're like freeing the captives is a main objective, but it's not the main objective. The main objective is to find more intel as to where the slavers' real headquarters is, and 2, kill as many of the slavers' leaders as you possibly can.
Had you, Kath, had you not find a secret door had we not find a secret door to the outside recently? In one of those rooms or the chimney or something?
Yeah, one of them did have a chimney that could be climbed up onto the rooftop.
Yeah, room 17 had a chimney that you could climb up to the rooftop.
Oh, but that doesn't really get you outside. I'm just trying to think, is there a way to get all these people out before, chaos hits the
Yeah,
fan?
I do think that we'd want to bring them at least safely past where there was sort of like a trapped area in the hall. I
That's
think
true.
if we could at least bring them safely past that. I mean, in fiction, that might take a little time, but that would probably be the right thing to do so that if they do come to and need to make an escape, they at least won't be led right into that.
I'll just say Zal also suggests, well, I mean, they're just sitting there. Maybe we can just have them sit down, and then maybe once ever whatever this thing is clouding their minds like wears off, then we can deal with them later. But
well, that's
we might not we might not want to. We've gotten this far into the stronghold without really being detected. I don't know how much longer that's going to last.
Say no more, Zal. Say no more.
If the alarm gets raised, we're not getting any of these people out of here.
Right, but if we get killed in the next room, all these people are re-enslaved. I guess that's what I'm thinking. We could at least do that good. But okay. I
feel like Zal knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I think
clearly.
He's inspired. Zal's inspired from the gods. Okay. Sounds good.
And this is also to get us to a point where we can pick up another player who is just gonna sit here watching
yes.
us
Yeah,
play.
let's go.
Yes, that's right.
Let's go listen to that door. Clintock, do you mind listening to that door? I think you got the best listening abilities.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Clintock, he scampers over there, puts his little halfling ear up to the door. And
okay, so I'm going to ask you, what is Clintock's hear noise skill?
It is 3 and 6.
3 and 6. Okay, so
yeah.
I'm going to roll.
When I first saw 3, I thought he's really bad at hearing noise because everything else is on a D100.
No, that's a 50. Yeah, he listened to doors.
That's
the
one
D6
skill.
roll.
That's 3 and 6.
Yep. So I'm going to roll that. Let me just make sure I know what's on the other side of the door before I tell you. Yes, indeed.
And Tim, do we know what this thing is over there to the left over there? That thing with the dots.
What is that? Let me make sure that is room 25.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
Okay.
The joys of a 40-year-old map. That is, of all things, that is a cloak rack.
Nice. Well, we're definitely gonna check the cloaks.
Yeah.
Why would they have a cloak rack here? Huh. How many cloaks are there?
Yeah, it's a number of cloaks. Yeah, there's probably about a dozen cloaks. I will say that that monster that you killed, that has killed Topaz, was hiding amongst the cloaks.
Hmm. Oh yeah, because it's a big manta ray type thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's like a big manta ray. The monster is called a cloaker, and they can like hide and pretend to be cloaks.
All right, so that's the purpose of having a cloak rack here. No cloak looks particularly fancy, and they're not for the. Well, I'll distribute the cloak while Clintock listens to anyone who looks like they need covering when they go out.
Fair enough.
And it might give them buy them a little time if someone sees them also. Okay, great. Clintock.
And Clintock does not actually hear anything on the other side of the door.
Okay. So we're gonna do a discreet open. Kath and I at the door. I take it, right? Ready to go in.
Yeah. Is it locked or?
It is not locked.
Okay. Yeah. So I think, you and I, old buddy, we're going to be up front have your axe. No, you don't use an axe. You're get your fist blades.
I have
Your
an
fist
axe
blades
too.
on.
I can start with my axe.
Well, yeah, I'm just the picture of a dwarf in my head always has an axe, of course. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's get ready to go through.
And Clintock has a bow, is that correct? Let's check.
Clintock does have a bow, yes.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna have Clintock and Zal behind us ready also.
Sal's got his lucky throwing dagger at hand, I think.
So this opens up into a corridor.
Okay,
There are several doors off of this corridor.
indeed, there's that's a lot of doors.
So I am going to and so like I said earlier in a previous session, the way this map works out, the sections that are in blue and the doors that are blue, that's the path for the tournament version of this module that was intended to be done in like a single 4.5 hour session. The ones which are not blue, the ones which are white go to areas that are detailed in the map, but they're not part of the tournament adventure. So I'm mostly going to try to steer you toward the tournament side just to give you the taste, because running this whole module from soup to nuts and I mean, just this one module would probably take like 11 or 12 sessions, just because there's so many rooms that are all detailed. So I'm just going to hand wave. So you explore a number of these rooms, and most of them are actually a number of them are empty. Some of them have like servants that cower when they see that cower when they see intruders there, but nobody tries to raise the alarm. So these are basically utility rooms. There's an armory. There's there's an armory. There's a storeroom. There looks like there's a barracks for some hobgoblin guards, but the hobgoblins are apparently on duty because there weren't anybody in there. So I'm just going to reveal a bunch of these. I'm just going to reveal a bunch of the rooms, because you go in there and there's really not much to speak until you get to that room that's labeled room 29. Oh, so room 28, that is an armory. So it's got some armor. It's got a number of it's got the kind of armor and weapons that you've seen the hobgoblin guards use. It's not high quality at all, but it's perfectly functional. Though you get to room 29. Room 29 is the other doors were locked. 29 is locked. The other rooms were not thus far. I'm just going to say, for the sake of argument, Clintock listens at the door, and so Caldas, I guess we can, if you want to tell us a little story about how you ended up here, but you have been captured by these slavers, but they think that you have they consider you a valuable prisoner, and that you may have some kind of information that they want. So they've put you in a larger cell. They've taken most of your stuff. They haven't chained you up, but they've locked you in this room, and you've probably been in here a couple of days by now. They've been giving you not great food, but they've been feeding you. They've been giving you water. They've also been interrogating you, trying to get you to tell them what they want to know. What is it? I'm going to say, and you haven't told them, but just for the sake of argument, what is it that they wanted? What secret do you have that they did want it?
I think I guess I am from a nearby region, and probably my horde, my tribe, lives kind of secludedly, or traveling through the woods with other small tribes, and probably I know most of the paths to navigate between these communities, and I think that's what they will want, a way to one quickly move through the forest with the knowledge of our tribes, and two maybe even go after us.
Okay, so they're trying to find the location of your tribe so they can go get you. I love it. But you haven't told them. They have warned you the last time they warned you that they were going to the last time they questioned you, they did tell you that okay, you haven't told us what we wanted to know, and the next time we come in, things are not going to be pretty. But you hear, but now you hear some commotion on the other side of the door, and like someone tries the door.
I think I would. What's the word in English?
Crack your knuckles.
My knuckles. Yeah. And say, well, I guess it's about not to get pretty then.
Do the keys from the hobgoblin fit into the lock?
Well, that's a good question. I'm going to say yes. I mean, you'll need to fumble for it. There are quite a few keys on this lock, but yeah, it takes you a moment. So yeah, Caldas, whoever's on the other side of the door, they are fumbling for the right key, and they try like 4 or 5 keys before they seem to find the one that actually opens this door.
All right, and then we ready our weapons as we always do, and swiftly open the door.
Yeah, if possible, I would be waiting for whoever is trying to open the door to get them.
So yeah, so this is a this is a room. It looks like it once was looks like it might have once been used as barracks, but it's only got a single bed in here, like a really crappy. It's got like a really crappy wooden stool, and that's about it. The other thing that's in here is a person. So Caldas, would you describe yourself, please?
Yeah, Caldas is a tall human woman. I'm thinking like part of the equipment I chose was javelins. So I'm thinking that Olympic javelin thrower, basically, with kind of short hair. And well, if I'm keeping all of my original clothes, probably just some kind of blue robes or something like that.
Seeing her stance, I think Baron is going to say, "Hold on, lass, we're here to save you."
I think I would have jumped as soon as anyone was over. So I hear this, and I'm figuring I'm on top of Last, trying to punch him, and I go, "You're not the guys."
And aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? Because Baroon is a dwarf.
Yeah, that precisely.
So yeah, these are clearly not the guards.
I stand up and help whoever I was on top of to stand up. Who are you guys? You're not the guards, clearly.
No, quite the opposite. In fact, we're here to free the captives, not to keep anybody here against their will. Although you seem to be a bit more physically imposing than some of the other people we found. Why is it that you've been held separately?
I go like, I try to keep fit. But in all seriousness, these guys have been after me and my tribe, and I just got in a huge mess trying to mess up with them, and they've been questioning me for a while, and I'm not saying I needed the help, but I sure appreciate the help.
Well, you could repay us by helping us in return.
Yeah, there's an armory just down the corridor from here. Maybe you want some payback.
Sure. If you are against this group, do they have a name that we refer to?
They call themselves the Slave Lords.
Okay, if you are against the slave lords, then at least for a while I'm on your side, I guess.
Hey, and you dropped the name. Hey, and you dropped the name of the adventure here, Against the Slave Lords.
Nice.
That's definitely going into the trailer.
Yep, that scene in the movie where they say the movie title. I
Yeah.
love it.
I guess it's time
So-
to go after the slave lords.
Yeah.
So yeah, you go into the armory, and sure enough, your stuff is like while the rest of you were poking, you did notice that there were a couple of oddball pieces that didn't seem to match the manufacturer of the rest. You just figured that was probably just captured equipment. Caldas, your stuff is just in this armory.
Okay.
I guess we-
pick up most of my things then.
So we have a brief gearing up montage. You press on. So there's one of these rooms is a kitchen. A couple of more small storerooms. And then you head down this corridor. Let me move the go to the right layer here. So you make it down to this corridor, and you check out these rooms. And again, like there's a kitchen, there's another storage room, there's a couple of more empty barracks. Doesn't seem to be a lot of people in there. There were a couple of goblin, not hobgoblin, goblin cooks in the kitchen, but they didn't look like they were treated super well, and they kind of cowered when they saw that people who weren't his employer. And when you threaten them, and they just clam up. Oh, and yeah, there is food in the kitchen. It might have been a while since Caldas had a bite.
I have to put in a word for what I think Zal would be. Zal would have flipped them a few gold coins and been like, keep your chin up, lads.
Very
just
true.
Remember, we treated you much better than your employers ever did.
When you get to this point in the corridor, you see at the end of the hallway, there's a set of stairs that are going up, and it leads to a small landing at the top, like it's just like a small platform at the top, and it looks like there is a closed trap door in the ceiling. And again, it looks like there's a metal ladder bolted to the wall. And there's another corridor. There's another corridor that heads to the south. So bring the party marker to here, and you see that corridor to the south goes about 20 feet and ends in a door.
Should we explore a little more on this level before we go up? Make sure that our means of egress is clear in case we need to go back this way.
That sounds like a good idea, lad.
Sounds, yeah.
Okay.
I think Clintock's already got his ear pressed to that door.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Let me make a GM roll. Okay. So Clintock presses his ear to the door, and given the angle, you can't really see his face very, very well, but he's there for a bit. And then he walks back up to the rest of you and he whispers, "There's people in that room, and it sounds like they're talking, and it sounds like there's dishes clattering. It sounds like there's people in there like eating a large meal. I also heard the sound of let's make sure I got this right. He said, I also heard this, what almost sounded like the crackling sound of a large fire."
Yeah. Okay. And we're close to a kitchen, so it could be a dining room.
Yeah, does it sound like they're having a party or just eating?
He says it's kind of hard to say. it didn't sound so much like a party, but there were definitely people that were having a conversation. Couldn't really make out what they were saying, but I got like just bits and pieces. They were definitely speaking common, not goblin, and not they weren't speaking goblin and they weren't speaking orc.
I would have to imagine those are the slave lords that we're after. I mean, after all, they don't seem like the type to throw a banquet for their captives.
Indeed. And so just to make sure I remember exactly, our goal is to take out the slave lords, right?
Yes.
Okay. Not to bring them back alive, to actually eliminate them.
No, you're here to yeah, I mean, if you could drag one back to life, that I guess that might be okay, but yeah, but yeah, you were told to eliminate the slave lords.
Okay, so we need to check out every room in case they're in there, right?
If there's a trapdoor on top of that staircase, could that trapdoor somehow lead to the roof of this room so that
You
we
would-
could spy on them better or something?
I'll say those of you who've been outside of this in daylight and have like studied it, you are in a section of the you are in a section that does actually have a second floor above. So that you think that may be the rear, you think that may go up to the rear tower. So there was basically a rear guard post. That had a balcony that kind of like looked over like the open courtyard. So there may be, so you think there's another guard post up there. So if anything, that's probably going to go into a guard tower, you're guessing.
Okay.
In the kitchen, were there any dishes that seemed like they were still to be served?
Yes, there did.
And there was just the one goblin? Or
There were two. There were two, but they were. But yeah, you cowed and or bribed them into silence.
Well, I was wondering if can we talk to them and
Yeah.
ask them like what's going on in there? It seems like they're the ones serving the food, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I believe one of you does speak Goblin, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think Baroon does.
I think you're right.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you
how
go
many
back into the
people are in
kitchen.
that room? And who are they?
Oh, the bosses are in there. The bosses are in there. Mr. Icar, he's the commander of the base, and he's in there. And then a bunch of other like muckety mucks from I don't know who I guess Icar works for. They came by the other day, and yeah, there's three of them. Oh,
All
and they
right.
also got some guards.
Oh, how many guards?
I don't know, 4 or 5, something like that.
The Baroon turns towards the rest of the party and says in common, and maybe so as to not be heard by the goblin, does any of you have any sort of poison or sleeping
No.
devices of any sorts? Zal, that seems to be up your alley. Nothing like that? No, we don't. We have glue, right? Is that what we still have glue?
I was actually just checking Zal. I was checking Zal's sheet
She's
to see
got
if he had anything.
oil flask. So we've got flasks of oil if we wanted to do like some kind of start a fire in there. I just read under armor, Jim wrote, "My bare ass."
It's just too bad that we don't have anything that would that could poison them, could make them feel sick.
Yeah, I don't think any of you have any poison in per se.
So then the other.
Are there any cleaning supplies in this kitchen?
Well, let's just put it this way: this is a kitchen that's run by goblins. What do you think?
Okay. How about is there any trolley that they bring? How do they bring the food?
That's what I was thinking.
They do have they do have a trolley. It looks like a push cart that it looks like they'd stack the the dishes in, and then they'd wheel it in. And yeah, it's got 2 levels.
So we could cover that with a cloth and have one of us make their way in there. I mean, we need the goblins to push to. We
I
can't really
mean,
replace the goblins.
Looking at Clintock's about the size of a goblin.
Oh, so a tusk.
Yeah, but
Clintock's
then
a halfling, and they're about the size. He's about the size of a goblin. If you
yeah,
you could try to disguise him like a goblin.
With a cloak.
I mean, this would all be to try to be in the place by the time all hell breaks loose, and to have a advantageous position by coming out from the trolley or something.
Well, the other thing I was thinking is, so I earlier acquired some like a kind of insignia that like a captain of the guards had, who was a human. And so, I mean, it's possible I could go in and try to impersonate that person and like tell the guards, like, you guys have to go, like the next shift is coming in, and try doing something like that to get, so then so like at least briefly they're not guarded. I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, my fear is that that's the big boss with his own bosses there, so they're gonna trump whoever tries to boss them around.
I like the card plan because it seems more chaotic, but you've been playing the game for longer, so I defer to you.
It does seem like something you'd see in a movie.
Yeah, and
Which one?
And while we're discussing these different plans, I mean, things will get ugly. Calling back to earlier, and my new Durban friend, if things get too ugly, bah, you can just run, right?
Well, running is not really my strong suit. Have you seen my legs?
I got no, bah, run, right?
Oh, I see. Well, I hope your javelins are as sharp as your jabs when going at stuff. Well, so maybe the trolley thing is not buying us anything. Maybe we just run in there. But I was hoping we could, like, we can't really poison them. I could probably hide underneath the trolley and again at least come out of there once the rest of you jump in.
I mean, we could just try everything. Like we could have Clintock pushing the trolley, pretending to be a goblin. We could have you in the bottom of the trolley. I could try to impersonate like a guard captain. Like, we could try all of it, I guess, and just see like what advantage we can get.
Is there another entrance? I asked to the goblins. Is there another entrance to that room?
That's a good question.
Not to this level.
Oh, but there is one from above.
Because otherwise we lock the door to the trap door, and maybe the door to this corridor that you went in earlier. And
the goblins say there's a couple of other rooms off. I'm not going to do the goblin voice because my voice is getting kind of shot because this is the second game I've run today. The goblins say that there are some rooms off of the main room. There's some rooms off of the banquet hall, and there is a staircase that goes down to the dungeon level.
Okay. And that staircase we're standing next to goes down or up?
The staircase you're standing next to goes up to the roof. Okay. Or I should say goes up to the upper level.
The guard tower. Yeah.
The guard tower.
For starters, I think we should lock that trapdoor because guard tower guards. So.
Yep. I think we've got some iron spikes. We could try and like spike it shut. If the key that we have locks it, we could do that too.
I'm going to say that you can try it. We can just hand wave. You can send Clintock, your rogue, up there to try to disable that lock, or if it's not locked, to make sure it's not going to open very easily. Rig a bar or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to roll that. I like that idea. So I'm just going to say that works. I'm also looking at the time. We're about halfway through the session. My voice is getting a little parched. I think I want to get some water. So let's call a 10-minute break here, and then we'll come back. Let's come back in 10 minutes, and then we'll pick it up from there. And we're back. So, plans on the table were disguise Clintock as a goblin, Baroon hide in the bottom of this like push trolley that has like foodstuffs on it, like presumably like throw a tablecloth over it so that you'll be hidden underneath that. So that would get two of you into the room. Calf, you were thinking about trying to pose as that captain of the guard again. Hold on, I can get his name. I just need to find it. He was in room 8C.
What was it again?
Name was Corbin, the captain of the guard. In fact, he didn't so much have an insignia, if I remember correctly. Was it a belt buckle that had his name on it?
Belt buckle, yeah.
It was a belt buckle that had his name on it.
He's apparently the kind of guy who walks around with a belt buckle with his name on it. So yeah, he was that guy.
reminds me of the old reminds me of that old Jeff Foxworthy joke, like when he did this here. You might be a redneck if when asked for identification, you show your belt buckle.
One thing that came to mind when I was thinking about stuff during our break is that Zal has the Phantasmal Force spell. And when I read what it does, it creates like an illusory, pretty much any kind of illusion that you want.
Yep.
So, I mean, we could have like a fire-breathing giant snake slither through that doorway. Like if we want some, we could just try and create chaos in there and get the people just running or whatever.
Let me look up that spell real quick, because this is one of those edition creep things where I forget what Phantasmal Force does in OSC versus Advanced Dungeons and Dragons versus versus the various illusion spells from third edition and fifth edition. Illusions by Phantasmal Force. It's the illusionist version. Where's the magic user version? Sorry, I'm having a hard time finding it.
I think it tell you what page it's on if you have. Do you have the classic fantasy book there, Mike?
I'm looking at the advanced player's tome, but I have the classic fantasy right here. Let me grab that.
I was just looking at it. It's
And I think there's a version under the illusionist spells in the advanced tome, and it seems to recall it works differently.
If you're looking at this one, it's page 93.
That's the classic book?
Yeah, 93.
93, here we are.
And Calf, can you let the two of us get in, right, when you come in as a captain? So hopefully we're kind of behind them by the time you come in, so we're on both sides of them.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so Phantasmal Force, you can do 3 types of illusions. You can create an illusionary monster that you can use it to attack your creatures. You can use to attack. The monster has armor class of 9 and will vanish if an opponent hits it in combat. You can use it to create an illusionary attack, like an avalanche, a falling ceiling, a magic missile, or etc. Targets who save versus spells are unaffected. Or you can change the scene by changing the appearance of the affected area or created the appearance of something new. The scene disappears if touched. Yeah, okay. So yeah, those are the kinds of effects. So if you wanted to So if you wanted to do like illusionary monster, like if you wanted to do like like an illusionary troop guard, like an illusionary like troop of guards that are with you, that I think that would count as a monster. It would also presumably count. It's more or less anything that you want. It'll just whatever you want. We'll figure out how to make it configure to one of those 3 illusion types.
Or we could make it, you know, if there was a, like you said that there was like a fireplace where we thought that he heard the sound of like a crackling fire or something.
Yes.
Right? If we wanted to make it look like that fire somehow, you know, started to spread throughout the room or something.
Or, you know, make it, you know, like cast the illusion of casting a fireball or something like that, or an illusion of making the fire blow up or something like that. That would be certainly be dramatic.
Well, I guess, yeah. So in my head, I'm thinking if our intent was to try and get them to flee the room, and then we could just be hiding out kind of like on one of the side rooms in the corridor and just trying to then catch them unaware, like as they're fleeing. I don't know. Maybe that's
trying to flush
maybe
them
that's
out of
overly
this room.
complicated. What do you? I'll defer to you guys too, and what you think. But was in my head like an option, I guess, that we could try. I don't know.
Yeah, separating them would be ideal, because if there's the goblins told us there's guards and there's the the big bosses in there. So if there's any way we could get the guards out and take them out separately, but I don't, if we start fighting them outside anyway, the big bosses are gonna come after us.
What I'm thinking about scaring them is if they don't run this way, but they run into the dungeon, because the goblin said there was a staircase that went into the dungeon. So maybe they run down instead of or away.
Zell says that, well, perhaps the guards would be easier to scare than their bosses.
Yeah.
So should I try to do a magical
spell though? Yeah.
Should I try to use the illusion to cast a magical spell that causes them to flee?
That would be ideal. Yes, that would be ideal. If you could get them to flee, but I'm not sure what that's going to do it. I mean, we could do a couple. They know the cloaker and they know how bad the cloaker is. We could do 2 or 3 cloakers coming in and sweeping on them.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you have actually seen a cloaker. It's causing an illusion.
And they know about it. It is too. It
And they
would be
know-
more realistic than if the dragon comes in, right?
That is true.
And also,
And
it says in the spell description that it's better if you don't just try to imagine what something looks like. Like, it's better if you've seen it, right? So yeah, that's cool.
But
But
I
if
love
we
that.
could, I think, if they've seen one, they know there's one, because presumably they know it's there. I'm assuming
Yeah.
it's not been hiding in a cloak this whole time. But if we had 2 or 3 sweeping through the room, even though they only know they're one, it doesn't stretch credibility too much for them to see 2 or 3 that it would have spawned others or something.
Yeah,
I think that's
like
the
that.
play. Yep.
I like that. Yeah.
And so we try, and that's also easy to kind of and we try to get them to go down in the dungeon, right? Caldas, that's what you're saying?
I'm not sure if we want them to run into a dungeon. I'm just saying that's a possibility that they will run into a dungeon.
Yeah, well,
So-
anything that gets them out of the room so we can take on the big bosses would be great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the more chaos we cause, the more likely we are to end up with a favorable situation to ourselves, right? So
Yeah. And I kind
I also like
that.
yeah.
Is
I
there
like
a
the-
limit to the space we can cover with the phantasmagoria or what it's called? How do you pronounce it?
Illusion
20
spell.
foot 20-foot cube area, it says.
Oh, that's not very big, but does that cube move or not?
You can move it around. You can create an illusion in a 20-foot cube. So I think if you want to do a monster, I think the way the spell's written, you can make like one illusionary monster. I mean, if you wanted to make like if you
Okay.
wanted to make like a cloud of pixies, I'd count that as one monster.
No,
but-
we're gonna make it. We could just double the size of the cloaker. It's still gonna feel real to them if they know there's one in the other room.
A
Plus,
big
I think-
I
cloaker.
like that.
Because the cloaker will go up and it can fly, so there's less of a chance that someone's just gonna like,
Yeah.
Oh,
slash
just
it
have it
right
like-
away and make it
Oh, just have it
disappear.
like, oh, I like it. Just kind of like have it fly around and maybe dive at people,
Yeah,
but then
yeah, and we
pull
can
away.
use it
Right.
as a herd dog, as a herding
Yeah.
dog to kind of get them to go where we want.
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah.
like it. I like
Yeah, I
it.
like that. I like
And
that.
we want them to come out. Is that right? Is that what we're thinking? Or do
You want
we
them to come out, or you
go?
want to chase, or do you want to chase them down into the dungeon, or you just want them not in the room? I guess that would be my question. Is like
Yeah, we want.
what you want to get out of this.
We don't really know what, I mean, we ideally what we'd want them is to go out any exit that we can then block. So if the dungeon is something we can then, I don't know how the entrance to the dungeon is, but if it's a trap and then we can like flip the heavy table on top of it or something, that would be ideal, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so okay,
like
so the
that
idea
part.
is that so Zell is going to so Clintock is going to dress like a goblin and is
Yeah.
going to push the cart with a hidden Baroon into the room.
Yeah.
And then once you're inside, the rest of you are gonna like basically like blast the door open and like Zell's gonna cast his illusion and cause
Well,
this.
hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt. Who's got the invisible cloak? Is it Clintock or was it
I've got the elven cloak.
so you could actually walk behind us when we come in with the trolley. You've got invisible boots also. I mean, you've got-
Right. There is a chance they would see me.
Oh.
So it's not a
It's-
0 chance.
it's not
a
true
one-
But they're
invisibility.
distracting eating, so maybe they wouldn't be paying attention to you just as you are walking in.
Yeah, it's possible. What's the advantage of having us in there though, if we're trying to get them out or trying to get them to flee?
It's having them is the guards which one we want to flee, but then you could position yourself next to the big bads, right? And the moment all hell breaks loose, we hit them.
Or you block the
Ah.
way into the dungeon.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I like it. I like that a lot.
And then Clintock will have his bow ready to pull out of the goose when we get there. And Zal, I guess Zal and Caldas would be at the door, right?
Yep.
Like burst in when it's time. Okay, I think
Well, I'm
we got a
thinking
plan.
so you guys walk in with the cart and maybe you just don't close the door behind you. And
Yeah.
Zal's just further down the corridor
Yeah.
and just starting to cast that spell. And so then it just swoops in through the wide open doorway, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
And
I
if
love
there's- And if so, and the goal for Zal would be to find a place again that where the guards could go that we can block. If there's no such place, I guess have them go out through the corridor, but then Zal would be exposed and Caldas too.
I
Down-
don't know if
down the
this
stairs.
is to a slapstick or not, but could I use my lantern oil to maybe have them fall in the corridor or something? In order
You can
to
certainly, yeah, you can
disable
certainly put
them?
oil on the floor to make
Oh,
it
we
slippery.
also have marbles, Caldas, talking about slapstick.
Yeah, we do have bags of marbles.
We have marbles that
There's-
are just for
There's a
this is-
marble. There's a
this is
marble
OSR,
trap.
It's all about the slapstick.
There was a trap that dropped a whole lot of marbles on a staircase that was supposed to like
Nice.
trip you up and make people fall down the stairs, but you had a rope of climbing, so you used that to like not fall down the stairs.
So I would say me and Sal would wait in the staircase to the tower, and if everything goes right, which it never does in these games, they will run through this door and fall on the marbles.
I will raise one question. What do you do if you have to get in there through the marbles? I mean, you know they're there, but
No, yeah, ideally they're gonna go out through down the dungeon or whatever else is in the room and not go out the way we came in. That's just plan B in case that's not feasible, right? Like ideally there's the goblin said there's a way down, like a dungeon down or something. So ideally
Goblin did say that there were stairs down to the dungeon.
right. So if the cloaker could get them down to the stairs and then we can block the stairs somehow, then we're alone with the others, which may not be ideal either because they're probably strong, but At least we don't have the guards to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm actually literally gonna tell Clintock, if you can get me close to the table, I'll try to get under the table to attack from there when all hell breaks loose. Okay, do we have a plan?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. So you dress up Clintock like a goblin. Baroon, you are hiding under this. You're hiding under this trolley that Clintock's going to push into the room. That's labeled with, I don't know, like a couple of soup tureens and maybe a soup tureen and a I don't know, like a big leg of ham. So yeah, the doors open and maybe he's got his collar up. Oh, I'm imagining like Clintock's got Clint. I imagine he's got like one of the chefs. I'm just imagining a goblin wearing a chef's toque, just because that amuses me. Yeah, he's painted his face green, and he's got like fake big ears like a goblin. It's not going to hold up to scrutiny, but he's hoping that people aren't going to be looking at him too closely. Okay, so yeah, you're in the room, and Calf, you follow behind them, mostly invisible. Tim, could you tell me what the chance of being spotted for the elven cloak is? Do you have that on your sheet, or do you? Or I can.
1 in 6.
Okay, it's only 1 in 6 to spot.
Unless I have it wrong, but that's what.
Nope, that does sound correct.
Should Clintock cast Bless before we go in there? Let's see.
That's a good question.
What is the interest?
Cool. Allies who are not yet in melee gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls.
For how long?
6 turns. So
a long time.
Probably really smart. Yeah, that's
that
a
might
great
as well be forever.
Mm-hmm.
Allies within 20. All allies. Wow.
So all of us could get it. Yep. Yep, that would be nice.
Okay, I think we should do that, right? He should do
Mhm.
that. So we
I
can
think so.
put our heads together. What's his name? What's the name of his god? Arimandris? What's it?
Randobaris.
Rondabaris. And I'm gonna remove it from his here. I'm gonna boom. That's because spell. +1 hit, +1 damage, +1 morale. Okay, and then I'm gonna remove it over here.
Okay.
All right, let's do this.
All right, Bless is up. Everyone has a +1 to hit, +1 damage, and a +1 on their morale checks. That's awesome. Okay. So yeah, you enter the room. This room appears to be a huge dining room, over 50 feet long and wide, and with over 50 feet long and wide, and with a 40-foot ceiling. About the room are piles of crates and kegs, as well as several tables and a cabinet. In the center of the room is a large fire pit. Fire in it licking at the charred head of a giant lizard hanging into the fire by a chain down from the ceiling. A 7-foot-tall man in black armor is poking and turning the lizard with a 2-handed sword. As the door opens, he turns to face the door, and you see that his helm has no eye holes. In the eastern side of the room is a table that sits 3 other people: an armored human woman with short-cropped dark hair, an elven man wearing robes, and an older human man wearing an expensive-looking suit. And I'm just going to tell you, because you've seen these 3 before. These were the other slave lords that were these were the other slavers that were in the previous module, Secret of the Slave Pits of the
Figured, yeah.
Undercity, that you basically ran away from when you realized that you attempted to, but yeah, these were those other slavers that you had encountered in the other module. So they're here now.
The three, right?
There's three.
Person,
well,
the
there's
new.
The tall guy you've never seen before.
Got it.
So he's the 7-foot tall guy in black armor, and when he turns to face you, he's wearing a full helm, but his helm has no eye slits.
Yeah.
The other three at the table were the people that you saw in the previous adventure. That was the armored human woman, an elven man in robes, and an older human man in kind of an expensive suit. And it was the older man that was the one who the previous time when Zal tried to convince whoever was on the other side of the door that, oh yeah, well, he can't come, we're the new people in charge. He's not, so that guy you're trying to see doesn't he doesn't work here anymore. To which the person on the other side says, well, that's interesting, considering the guy that doesn't work there anymore works for me. Who the hell are you?
Yeah. And do we see that thing over there, or is that something we don't see?
The thing over there, that was the pit trap. That's not in this room. That's the pit trap in the hallway.
Okay. And so, and then there's all these doors that obviously that we see here, but there's no obvious access to the dungeon from where we are, right?
It's if there is an access to the dungeon, it is through one of those doors.
Yeah. Okay.
Is the guy who cast the knock spell when we saw those three last time, that would have been the elf then?
That would have been the elf.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I'm assuming we can't really talk, but Clintock is probably taking the trolley to the table, since that's what we had talked about. And so I guess that's what I'm saying Clintock is doing, while Baron is hiding on the trolley, and I'm gonna let other people decide what Zal is doing.
Got it. So
yeah, I think I'm sidling kind of to that back southeast corner of the room where there's two doors. I'm kind of trying to position myself back a little bit toward there, or between the table with the three so that we know, and those doors.
So it's not actually marked on the map, but the table with the three is kind of like over here. It's on the it said the eastern side, so I'm going to say it's over here.
Yeah.
So
middle of the room is the fire. Middle of the room is the fire pit. One other thing I'm going to say is there's a big burning fire in the room that's kind of smoky, but the room itself is not particularly smoky, and you see that because there's actually there's a smoke hole cut in the ceiling.
And no guards, Mike?
I'm sorry. Yes, and there are 4 hobgoblin guards. They're just kind of they're like, I'm going to say that they're standing like 2 of them are each standing on either side of the door.
Okay.
But you come in and they were kind of expecting, I'm going to say your ruse works just because I think it's awesome.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we can't really talk anymore to revise the plan. So Baron is just clutching his axe as we get nearer and nearer to the table, I think, and waiting for stuff to happen to jump out.
So let me make a couple of secret rolls here.
And Caldas, you're just gonna throw javelin from the door to start with?
Yeah, I think well
That sounds great.
I think I'll throw it to, if I am able to see the big guy in the fire, that's what I'm gonna try to take.
Yep, that's you. Yep. Okay, so you will be able to see him if you step there.
And
so the door opens and you push the cart in, and the guy with the sword that's poking the roasting lizard does turn, and he doesn't so much look in your direction as he just kind of looks back and forth. like sweeps with his head. But again, you can't see his eyes because his helmet does not have eye slits. But yeah, so Clintock, yeah, you're able to push the, you're able to put, he's able to push the cart near to the table where the three slave lords were sitting at.
So Baroon is gonna slide under the table, letting Clintock maybe move away from them again, since we want Clintock not too close to be using his bow, right?
So
then- Yeah, go
so yeah, you're gonna creep under the table. I assume you're trying to do this in a way that nobody notices. I think that's gonna be a dexterity check to see if anyone notices.
Okay. Ready to let things fly if all goes okay. Here we go.
Dice to hit the table.
Fail. Okay. So they see me.
So what is that? So what is that? I mean, I'm just going to say that as you're trying to climb out, you make a loud.
I think a buckle on his plate mail gets caught in the tablecloth that's on the trolley, and as he's pulling, the whole tablecloth comes, and the ham falls, and the tureen soup falls, and he just says, "Well, lads, I guess you won't be eating." And whenever he can, he's gonna jump on the elf.
Love it. Okay. So that happened. Clintock, what is Clintock going to do?
Who's doing Clintock? You want Calf?
I don't know. Yeah, sure. I mean, I would imagine he's kind of like we talked about. Maybe he just kind of like pushes the trolley like as hard as he can into the nearest person, and then is like, trying to get back away from them as he draws his bow.
Okay. So Caldas, what do you want to? What are you going to do?
First, I think I'll tap on Sal for him to cast his spell, his illusion, and right after that, I'll position myself to scan the room, and if I see the guy, I throw a javelin at him.
Got it. So I don't think you automatically. So I don't think there's going to be surprise given that Baroom like knocked this over. So I think we're just going to do a straight up initiative roll. So I'm gonna roll openly, and who wants to roll? Who would like to roll for the monsters or for the bad guys?
I can roll for the bad guys. It's a D6, right?
Yeah, just roll a D6.
Okay. 1.
Ooh, tie. Roll. Let's roll again.
Wait, you're rolling for the bad guys and I'm rolling for the PCs, right?
Oh yeah, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm rolling for the bad guys. You're rolling for the PCs. So we each got a 1, so that's a tie. So let's roll again. And the heroes beat and I rolled a 1 again, and you got a 5. So the heroes get to go first.
Okay, let's do this. Can we have Zal go unleash first?
Yeah.
there's an order.
So looking at the encounter sequence. So we've done initiative. So the winning side acts. So first morale. Well, we're not gonna do a morale check yet. So next, movement happens. So those of you who are moving who need to make movement, those of you who are moving can move. The next thing that happens would be any missile fire. So I think that's when the javelin goes.
Yeah.
So you are attacking. You're attacking the big guy in the armor. So yes, go ahead and make an attack roll. So the ways this would work is, I think you can just click on your weapon in the character sheet.
Not sure. Name, javelin, torch, hand axe. No, I don't think I can.
It's on the left. Oh, it's under weapons. It should be under weapons if you have anything under weapons.
I was editing. Sorry. Yes. Submit. That's a 21.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, that's an attack. That's a 21. You're a 5th level barbarian, correct?
Yes, to hit
And
fourth
armor
level.
0, I have
Plus
to
1
roll
to
a
hidden damage.
17.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and a +1.
And you probably have other plus because this is a natural 4. Oh, no, because it's your dexterity, right?
Yeah, this is you're using.
I added my dexterity. It's well, I think it's added because I wrote it down.
I think that dexterity does not add to damage with ranged weapons, but
It does not add to
your
damage,
attack
but it does
roll.
add to your strength still applies to thrown weapons, but your dexterity applies onto the hit roll.
Got it.
And AC, you rolled a 21, so yeah, that totally hits. Yeah, you hit him. Go ahead and roll some damage.
Let's roll.
It's rolled. That's a 4.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, it didn't. Sorry, I didn't have the page scrolled down far enough.
Max
Okay.
damage.
So you got a 4. +1 for the bless, so that's a 5.
I mean, a hit with max damage, you can't get a better start than that, right?
I know, seriously. Okay. He screams in rage as he pulls his, as he pulls his sword and whips around. Again, he's scanning. He doesn't seem to be looking, but which is weird. Then next is spell casting. So this is when Zal's spell goes off.
No, hold on. I think Clintock shoots his bow too.
Oh yes.
And it's a short bow, so I'm trying to figure out the distance. 5 to 50 feet is short, so +1 to hit.
Yep.
In fact, javelin is also +1 to hit, right? As you know. Okay, so can I do it, Tim? Is that okay?
Yeah, go right ahead. Yeah.
All right, so short bow.
I recommend to target the elf. That's the only contribution I have.
Okay, then I will do that. And threshold modifier, can I add +1 there? Let's see if that works.
I was going to say, yeah, that's probably where you want to add that to the threshold modifier.
That's only an 11. Oh, but it's the elf, so that would hit armor class 8.
Plus, did you get an additional +1 for the bless?
Yeah, I already put that, I think.
Was there 1 for range and 1 for bless though?
There's 2 for range, 1 for bless, and 1 for probably his dexterity. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all in. Okay.
That's all in there. Yeah, well, he did roll a 7 on the die. So
yeah.
That is just barely a miss. And I'm gonna say what happens is so I think this elf sees what's going on, and he ducked suddenly in a way that you weren't expecting, and Clintock's arrow literally goes right through his pointy hat. Because hey, it's a wizard. He's got to have a pointy hat, right?
Yeah. All right, Zal, do your thing.
So go ahead and so he reads the spell off of the scroll. The magic takes effect. What does it look like? What do the viewers at home see? Who's controlling Zal here?
Whatever. I'm happy to. Or Tim, do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm okay with a collaborative effort also.
That also works. So what does it look like when this illusionary cloaker?
There's no sound, right? With a phantasm.
It does not make. Yeah, it does not make sound. That is true.
Yeah, but that's fine. The cloaker's silent.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just this black shadow just darts through the open doorway, and it kind of goes up, and then suddenly like it just opens up, right? Because it was kind of like huddled up, and you just saw like the black top of it. It zooms in, and then it kind of swoops up, and as it does, it just opens its entire wingspan, and you just see like the bottom side of its body just kind of spread out like
Okay,
across the room.
And
I love
think-
it.
And I think what it's going to do, since Clintock and Baroon and soon Calf are in the middle of the room, it's going to try to divide those forces, right? So maybe it's going to be between the guards and the big black guy and the other three at the table.
I like that idea of like it's trying to neutralize the guards or get the guards to flee, right? I think was kind of, is that what you were
I
thinking?
think that was the idea, was to like scare the guards into into running away.
Yeah.
The guards are the likeliest to be scared. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and hopefully not through the door so they don't run into Caldas and Zal. So we'll see.
Again, I'm just reading the spell again one more time just to make sure.
It
So this
doesn't
thing
make any
isn't so much
sound,
attack.
I go,
So this is sort of so you've made an illusionary monster, but the monster's not. You can direct it to attack.
We're trying to menace them, I think,
just
more than
sweep-
anything else, right?
Sweeping flybys.
Yeah. So I guess they don't actually get a saving throw. I guess they're just going to react as if they would when a when a giant cloaker would attack. So I think I'm just gonna go with I'm gonna have the mod. So I think that's let's see. So Baroon, I think you getting out from I think you getting I think you getting out from under there was that was the thing that, so let's see, that was movement. I'll let you so I think you're the only person that still has a melee attack. So if you'd like to make an
Tim
attack.
too.
What's that?
Tim too.
Oh yeah, Calf hasn't yet too. That's right. So yeah, let's do the so I think the way this is going to work with the illusionary is that's going to force a morale check on the monsters.
Okay.
And I
So
think
if-
I'm going to give them a penalty because this thing's really scary.
So if sorry, I'm just jumping in to move things forward, but if I can, you want me to act now, or is that okay?
Yeah, it's now time. Yeah, we are now in the melee attack section of combat.
All right, so on the movement, I think just for effect, Baroon has like put one foot on a stool and the other on the table, and he jumps on the table in the middle of the floor, and he tries to strike at the elf that just avoided Clintock's arrow.
Okay.
And as he does that, I think technically he should go last because he's got a battle axe. But while I have the floor, I'll just do that quickly. Where is Baroon? Here we go. Baroon, axe, and I'm gonna add 1 for my bless.
Yep, you are blessed.
20.
Oh, a 20.
And
Yeah,
that is actually 12 damage to the elf.
You did 12 damage to the elf. Okay.
Let me make sure I got that right. 1 for the axe, 1 for the bless, and I think 2 for strength. Sorry, I've got everyone.
Yep. Yeah, the axe and the strength were already added, and then 1 more for the bless. So
Yeah.
so that's going to be so that'll be 12 points.
Yeah.
Okay. You strike this guy good. He's not dead, but he's not in good shape. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what that looks like?
Well, like I said, he's jumping on the table. There's this big clang as the tureen and the ham fall from the tureen. And while screaming a dwarven cry, he jumps on the table. The guy just avoids that Clintock's arrow, and he takes a big swipe at him and makes a big gash on his chest. And he's just standing on that table with a bloody axe now, and there's soup on the floor. And I think the silver terrain cover is doing the on the floor.
I love it. I love it. So Calf, you were able to get basically wherever you wanted to be in this room. No one seemed to detect you because of your elven cloak and boots. So what do
Yeah.
you want to do?
You said that the very tall guy in the armor, he's standing next to a pit with a fire in it.
Yeah, he's standing next to the fire pit, and hanging from a chain from the ceiling is like the head of a giant lizard that he seems to be roasting. That he's been like poking at with his two-handed sword to like turn it to like, make it cook more evenly.
How wide and how deep is the pit?
And it's and when we say it's a fire pit, it's maybe only it's probably only like a foot or two deep
Okay.
into the floor. I'm gonna say it's like maybe 5. It's probably it's pretty big. I'm gonna say it's maybe like 4 feet wide in diameter.
All right.
Let's say 5. Let's say 5 feet in diameter, just because that's a good round number.
There's a pretty good fire going there.
There's a pretty good fire going. Yes.
I think what I want to do is just kind of like loop back around, like quickly tiptoeing on the balls of my feet, pick up speed. And as this guy is hopefully, looking at the javelin stuck in his chest or the cloaker that just flew into the room, and I'm just coming behind him and just putting my shoulder right into him and just pushing him as hard as I can forward.
Try to
hopefully to knock him kind of prone into the pit.
knock him into the fire. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Hold on. I don't know how unarmed combat works here. Or combat maneuvers or whatever that's called. Looking up combat here. I know this is one of those things that I know how it would work in like Pathfinder and 5th edition. I just don't know how it would work here. Okay, attack rolls, rolling for damage, weapon damage. So I think how we're going to do this is go ahead and make an attack roll. And so go ahead and make an attack roll. And if it's successful, you're gonna like you're trying to knock him down. Make an attack roll. If it's successful, I'm going. You're going to do some amount of basically unarmed damage against this guy, and I'm going to basically have him make a dex check at a. I'm going to give him a saving throw, and if he makes a saving throw, he's going to fall either way. But the question is, does he fall into the pit? Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll just click on my sword then. It's a sword +1.
That's fine.
So that I just won't add in the +1 for the bless. So
that works. That works. Ooh. Okay. So yeah, that's not going to hit anything.
Maybe he's just a lot sturdier than I thought.
I'm going to say
push him. Like he just doesn't move.
So this doesn't work. And I'm gonna, and it's not, this maneuver doesn't have the intended effect, and I'm going to ask you to describe what actually happens.
Yeah, I think it's exactly like I think like I'm a real badass, and I just think I'm just going to go up and I'm just going to shove this guy and he's just going to fall into the pit. And it is, I go up, put my shoulder in, shove with all my might, and it's just like, it's like pushing against a tree, So it's like this scene where like you just see me suddenly just try and shove him. He just doesn't even move an inch, and then just that blank helmed head just kind of like swings around to where
Got
I'm
it.
like pushing in vain
Oh,
against him.
love it. It's as if you tried to like bull rush a tree. I love it. Okay. I think that's everybody. Yeah, I think
On our
everyone's
side,
gone.
yeah.
It is now
Uh,
time for them
yep.
to go. So, let me just go back to I'll do this in order. So the first thing to do is monster morale. So I am going to roll some morale checks for the hobgoblins. I'm giving them a penalty on this because they are afraid of this cloaker. So they've got a that. So with this cloaker flying around, flying into the room and like swooping at them, 2 of the hobgoblin guards drop their weapons and given the directions they're facing, 2 of them drop their weapons and they run deeper into the room, and they both seem to be making a run for this door.
They fail
And
when it's higher, right?
yeah, you fail. Yeah, the high. Yeah, this. Yeah, morale checks you want to roll low, and so 2 of the hobgoblin guards failed their morale check, and so they basically dropped their weapons and they're running. And I'm just going to say that given their movement rate and the fact that they're just running full tilt, they get to this door and they throw it open and they run in and they run into this door and they pull the door shut behind them. So 2 of the hobgoblins are not in the room.
Okay.
Let me just mark them. Okay. So that was monster morale. Movement. So the guy at the table in the expensive suit, he like stands up quickly and he looks at you and says, "You, I know you. You're the fools who slew Dexton. Well, you won't leave this room alive. Get him!" So I guess the other 2 hobgoblins that have not fled, I think they are most concerned with this cloaker, to be honest. So they raise their bows and they just start shooting at the illusion.
Okay.
I actually need to make rolls because if they hit its not great armor class, it will disappear. Oh, was that only melee? Double check that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to do some monster attacks. That's a miss. So yeah, they start shooting at this cloaker, but Zell is controlling it enough that he's able to anticipate where they're going to shoot, and he has it zig when they expect it to zag, and many arrows are shot, and this illusion is not hit. So the next thing that happens is the elf who is fighting Baroon. Needs to disengage from combat. I think there's a disengage.
Fighting withdrawal, move backwards. Yeah, I think if you go half, right, you're fine. At half your encounter speed.
So ultimately, he wants to cast a spell, but he doesn't want to do that when you've got when he's got like a dwarf that's like yeah. So he backs away and he quickly casts a spell. But because he's already taken his movement, the spell seems to take he seemed to cast the spell on himself. But he had to back away from you to cast the spell, so he's already used his movement.
And it would be half his movement, right?
Yeah. He moved half his movement away from you, and then he cast a spell. So what he would then do, we'll need to wait until next round. So maybe you'll get a chance to take him out again. Next thing that happens is, I think that's all the melee. That's all the fighting. So the big guy in the black armor, he is not happy that Calf just tried to shove him into the fire. So I think he is going to attempt to he's going to attempt to bury his two-handed sword into Calf.
Oh.
Calf, what is your armor class?
It is 0.
Ooh.
Are you seeing any rolls, Tim? I'm not seeing any rolls on Roll20.
I think, is Mike making them secretly, perhaps?
I was, yeah. I still have the G. Yeah, I have the. I never undid the secret roll. I never undid the secret tab from when I was rolling for the thief abilities. So.
Well, in true old school fashion, you would.
I'm rolling behind my TM screen.
Yeah, right. Just make the noises.
So how do you defend yourself against this attack, Calf?
Yeah, I think as soon as I push him, he doesn't move, and I see that helmed head swing around. I think I just immediately just put up my shield because I just know that
got it.
The other sword is about to fall,
and the sword clangs against your shield. And I'll just tell you, if that had hit you, you can just tell from the force of blow on your shield, this guy's really strong.
It's like that. It hits it so hard, like kind of like you feel that like jelly feeling in your arm. Yeah. Okay.
The next thing that happens is the armored woman who is eating dinner at the table. She stands up, draws her sword, and is going to attack Barun.
0.
AC 0. That is a solid. That is a very ineffective attack. How do you defend yourself against this?
I don't have a shield, so I'm gonna use one last of those food covers for a comedic effect, and this time it's the last terrain cover that he uses as a shield to deflect. What is she using? Whatever she's using.
She's using a long. She's got a battle axe.
A battle axe, but it's clearly not done for that. So it just whips it out of his hand as it flies across the room, but it enabled him to stop it.
Love it. Let's see, and finally the guy in the suit. He pulls out a potion. He pulls out a little vial and pulls off the cap and drinks it. That is the end of round 2. I'm sorry, that is the end of round 1. It is now round 2. Party gets to go. So we'll do so again according to the sequence. First we do movement. So if anyone wants to like change their positioning or like do some kind of a move action, like Caldas, if you want to like run into the room, that would be the time.
I would run into a room next to the big guy. Or if I saw the goblins run into the basement, I would like to get as close as possible to the door to jam it or something.
Well, you're entering from here. I'm pinging it. I'm doing the sonar blip on the map. They ran to this door. The most of the fighting is happening over here, except in the middle, where the big guy is. The big guy is here. The other three combatants are over here, and there's still a pair of hobgoblins, one here and one here, who are firing at the illusion.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go in the center towards the big guy, or towards the goblin, or if I saw them towards the door. I don't know if I can ping towards the door in the bottom right corner.
You want to get all the way over to there, you can do that, but that would be all of your action. If you wanted to get to any of the combatants in the fore part of the room, you could also attack them.
Okay, then I'm just gonna go to the center next to the big guy.
Okay. Okay, so you move in. We'll come back
But
around
if
for the
possible,
actual.
I do want to yell, get the door, because I'm afraid somebody will come up from there.
Okay, that is cool. Okay, so you move into the room. I think Zal's probably going to move into the room and is going to but still kind of like lurk in the doorway, because that's kind of what Zal does, trying to avoid melee. Yeah, you can move and maintain your concentration, but if you need to cast another spell, that concentration is going to wane. That's just how Phantasmal Force works. So anyone else doing missile fire?
I think I mean, I guess I can just player wise. Don't you think Clintock could do that? Blind her. I'm afraid the big guy is not sensitive to his doesn't use his sight as much.
Yeah, that's true.
I would agree to blind. For some reason I was thinking Zal, but of course,
Yeah. So I think Clintock is gonna hold on his missile fire and instead pull out whatever ingredient he uses to cast light.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
This is going to cast light on
the woman with the armor.
Okay.
In her eyes.
Nice. Love it. Okay. Yeah, Clintock can. I mean, yeah. Well, let's. So if no one's doing any missile fire, we're now into spell casting. I think so. Zal is going to continue concentrating on the illusion that will at least is distracting the hobgoblin guards. Clintock casts a light spell in the face of the. Yes, a light spell on the face of the woman with the sword. So I'm looking that up.
Yeah.
Blinding a creature by casting a light spell on its eyes. If the target fails a saving throw versus spells, it is blinded for the spell's duration. A blind creature cannot attack. So let me look at the saving throws. This is a time where I actually wish I had a. Actually, right now, I wish I had a GM screen, because then I could just look that right up. Let's see, fighter. Here we are. So she is what? Fighter that. So her saving throw versus spells is that. So I need to roll her saving throw. Okay, she made her saving throw. I actually rolled a 19 on the die.
Okay. Worth a try.
It's totally worth a try.
Caldas, it's all you, Caldas. Go.
So Kaf and Caldas are fighting the 7-foot tall guy in black armor.
Yeah.
Who wants to go
So-
first?
If I can go first.
You certainly may.
Sure. So I will pull out my Warhammer and just try to get this guy in the knee or something to 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 to, to get on the level with him.
Okay, you try to whack him with your Warhammer. Go for it.
Submit.
Oh,
No.
I don't do critical fumbles, but this was an attack that he just saw coming a mile away, and go ahead and tell us what this looks like. This is either like, I mean, go ahead and describe what this looks like. I mean, this is not a fumble. This is not necessarily a fumble. This is, I mean, I'm not using any fumble rules, so you're not worried about like losing a weapon or anything like that. But yeah, go ahead and tell us like why this attack, why he was extremely easy, it was child's play for him to avoid this attack.
I think I threw him the javelin last round, and then he was barely moved by Calf, so he probably had his non-sight on me. And I ran into a room, pulled my hammer, and this guy is so gargantuanly large that he just like grabs my hammer as I am pulling it out.
Okay, I love it. So Calf, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll make an attack with my sword.
Go for it.
Okay, so 20, so that would hit armor class -3.
Nice.
Nice. That is
Max
a
damage, so plus an additional damage, so 12 damage.
12 damage. Yeah, you he's not down, but you hurt this guy. What does that look like?
I think, yeah, he's like towering over Caldas, and then that just leaves an opening for me. Even if, Caldas's attack wasn't successful, but it distracted him just enough that I could see like a little opening in his armor and just jab my sword up through it.
Okay, yeah,
Teamwork.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay, Baroon, what are you doing?
Baroon is gonna follow through on the elf. It's kind of messy. There's food flying everywhere. I don't know that he's super steady, but I think if I go half my speed, I can also just follow him, right?
Yeah, you can go half your speed and attack.
Okay, so Baroon will do that. He's gonna follow on the elf, and here we go. Battle.
Yeah, you can totally close to the elf and make an attack.
Oh!
Ooh! Nice.
10 damage, natural 20, and 10 damage.
So with a natural 20, what I think I've been doing with natural 20 is you can do is your weapon does max damage.
Okay. So in other words, we are looking at 8 plus 4, so 12.
Okay, you have taken him out of combat. What does that look like?
It's messy. Like he's stumbling down the table and like barely, but he's like partly falling on him as he's he's not the most graceful creature, Baroon, but nevertheless, the axe finds its perches vertical in the middle of that guy's rib cage, and the elf unfortunately passes out.
Okay. Yeah, this elf does not look like he's long for the earth. So I think that's everybody.
Yeah, on our side. Well, because Zal is concentrating, right? And
Zal is concentrating on keeping that thing going. So it is the monster's turn. And it is time to do some morale, especially now that you've taken one out. I'm going to do GM rolls for this. So morale for him. Problem. Morale for him. No problem. That person's dead. It doesn't get to roll. And for the okay. Everyone, all of the bad guys made their morale check here, so they are continuing. They are continuing to fight. So Calf just hit the big guy in. Just hit the big guy in the black armor. So I think he is going to. He's going to attack you back. Oh, and how do you? You see his attack coming a mile away. How do you defend yourself against this?
I think he's taken a few hits now, and I think he just lets his rage kind of get the best of him. So he just takes this huge wind up with his sword, and it's just easy to just quickly sidestep it. And yeah,
fantastic. So the elf is dead. The hobgoblins are continuing to shoot at the hobgoblins are continuing to shoot at the illusion. It's a miss. Another miss. They can't hit armor class 9.
Nice.
The elf is dead, and so the other fight, the woman fighter who was fighting Baroon, steps up and she attempts to attack you as well. Oh, and that is absolutely a hit.
Armor class 0.
Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's going to hit armor class 0. Dwarf, elf, fighter, 5. Yeah, that hits armor class 0. With her battle axe. It does 5 points of damage. So how does she get past your defenses?
Well, I just my axe is in the rib cage of the elf, so I think she probably lunges and uses her own battle axe to slash against my plate mail. She doesn't necessarily cut a lot, but the weight of it does a huge bruise on and half dislocates my shoulder. But
There we go.
Shrug it off.
Nice. And I think that is all of the bad guys. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot one other thing. So the guy in the suit who the previous round, he drank a potion. He starts floating up into the air.
Okay. Oh, I'm doing what I do best.
So I'm just looking at time. This game was scheduled to go till basically now. I'm happy to push on for another couple of minutes to end this combat, or if we want to put it to rest here and pick it up next time, we can do that. I'll leave that up to you. I'm on the East Coast, so it is getting late, but I'm off tomorrow because I'm going to a gaming convention.
Nice. I'm good if we just put another limit. If we decide now on what the time is.
Want to go in another half an hour? Is that okay?
Half an hour sounds good for me.
Okay.
Okay, let's keep going. I think we can probably finish this combat by then. So that was that was all the bad guys. So it is now it's now the top of round 3. think Zal is going to continue concentrating on his phantasmal force, so he's not going to cast another spell. Because again, that's distracting. That's distracting the guards. The let's see. I'm gonna do. Well, it's your turn. So is anyone taking any missile fire, or is anyone anyone going to take any pot shots?
I think what's his name is gonna shoot at. I think Clintock is gonna shoot at the levitating man.
That makes sense.
How high is he?
At the moment, he is. Well, let me.
You want to do it, Tim?
Sure, yeah, I can make the roll this time.
It's probably short range, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, he's not super. I'm just checking to see how fast this works. Vertical 20 feet per round, so he is halfway to the ceiling. He's 20 feet up.
Let me get my Pythagoras.
I'm going to say that's close. I'm going to say that's close range.
Okay.
Okay, close range, and then +1 for blast. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
and 7 damage.
Okay. You so Clintock shoot Clintock kills him with a single shot. What does that look like?
Oh man.
God, I mean, I think it's just the guy's just like floating slowly up. He's in his pompous suit, and Clintock just takes aim, lets fire, and it just right into his throat.
Yeah,
Kind of feel
and
bad.
that happens, and you know, I think what happens is the momentum like causes him to like because he's floating in the air, you know, it causes him to like spin a little bit. But then since he's dead, the magic starts to falter, and you know, like he like spins in the air a little bit, and then the magic just falters because he's dead, and then he just like falls to the ground with a thud. Yeah, that's the thing. Their leader was a 0-level human who was not supposed to get anywhere close to combat.
Baron yells at the woman, "Drop the axe now, and we'll let you live."
Going to force an immediate, since she just saw her boss die, I think I'm going to force an immediate morale check on her. But she's of the opinion that I think she's come to the conclusion that your offer of leniency if you surrender is probably worth about as much as her offers of her offer of leniency if she asked you to surrender. So she's going to keep fighting.
Okay. Well, Catherine Caldas, it's all you. I go last with my axe.
So yeah, so Kef and Caldas are fighting the man in black.
Okay, I'll take another swing with my sword. And okay, so yeah, that would hit armor class 8.
Yeah, that
calculating right.
That doesn't get through this guy's plate mail.
Yeah. Maybe this time I can be the distraction, and Caldas can.
So like how? So
Yeah.
how was how was this guy able to very deftly defend himself against your expert attack?
Yeah, I think, you know, I was just kind of going in probably kind of the same attack that I tried last time, and this time his attention was on me, so he had just missed me with his sword, like clang, but then he saw my next attack coming, and he just brought his sword back up and parried it.
Got it. Okay. Caldas, back to you.
Yes, I'm gonna do a fighting withdraw. Pull out my hand axe and try to just throw it at his head.
Okay, you're taking a step back and you're gonna
Right.
throw a hand axe at him. Okay, go for it.
Submit. That's 17, which
Okay.
hits armor class 0.
Okay, that is a hit. And you
Nice.
are blessed. So so I think that does an extra damage unless you already put that in there.
No, I haven't. So that's 5
Okay.
damage.
You hit him pretty squarely with the, again, he's still up, but you hit him pretty squarely with that with that axe. What does that, what did that look like?
If possible, I would like for the he is giving his back to me, so I would like the hand axe to throw his helmet off his head because I want to see what's behind the mask, what's under the mask.
Interesting. I'm going to say sure because I think that's, I'm going to say sure that because I think that's cool. Yeah, the axe, you hit him just at the right angle that his that yeah, you knock his you knock his helmet, you knock his helmet off, and it clings to the ground, and he turns at you, and oh, okay, we've got the, this isn't, I'm going to do an ask first here. This guy is obviously blind.
Okay.
So I know we've got, and this isn't exact, I mean, this probably was a graphic, this probably was like whatever caused him to lose his eyes, or it was probably a graphic, was probably a very graphic eye injury many years ago. But he like literally does not have eyes. He's got like, he's got like, you know, he doesn't have like, you know,
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
the empty socket.
he's got, it's not so much the empty eye sockets, it's that like it's because, you know, I mean, you didn't have glass eyes back then, so it was you know, he's got like flesh over where his eyes would have been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew that was coming, but yeah.
But he seems to be able to, I mean, other than the fact that he just rolled a 1 last round, he seems to be perfectly capable of like knowing where everyone is in combat, because clearly whoever designed this NPC was had been reading Daredevil comic books. Because you can blind him by hitting with, I mean, I'll just tell you because I know you don't have a silence spell anymore. You can blind him by hitting him with a silence spell. But yeah, he's got like not exactly echolocation, but he's got such precise hearing that he can pinpoint where his opponents are. So I guess that would go back to Baroon.
Okay. Maybe unsurprisingly, Baroon's gonna try to. Now he turns around and is trying to hit the woman in the legs.
Okay.
And let's see how this goes. Since she did not take,
She did not surrender.
Right. So 13 would hit armor class. Well, 14. I didn't enter the plus. Oh yeah, I did enter the +1. It looks like. Yeah, I did enter the +1. Sorry.
Okay.
So armor class 4 would hit.
Okay, that is it. She does seem to be wearing chainmail, so yes, that does hit.
Oh, nice.
So,
but I rolled a natural 1, so then I do 5 damage.
5 damage. Okay. She is still up. But what does that attack look like?
Well, I think it's not a great attack, so I think she quickly she steps out of the way quickly, and all it does is like a red slash across her thighs. But
Got it.
She's still there.
So just do that there. Okay, cool. Is that everyone on our team? Is everyone gone?
I think so.
I think so. Okay, so bottom of round 3, it's their turn. There's basically only 2 combatants left. Well, there's the hobgoblins. So I guess we'll start with the hobgoblins. They're still trying to shoot at that illusion of the cloaker.
Ooh.
Oh, and yeah, one hits the cloaker and it disappears.
Shit.
The other one goes, huh? Looks dumbfounded for a moment, and who would be the most? I think it's Yeah, I'm going to declaim responsibility, and I'm going to just roll. So we've got Calf, Caldas, Baroon. Yeah, I'm going to roll a d6. I'm re-rolling a 6. So 1, 2. So that's going to go after Caldas. So he's going to take a pot shot. And he hit armor class. Armor class 5. Did that hit you, Caldas? You're at 2. So yeah, I'm going to say that arrow just kind of like bounces off of your armor. You know, it struck you, but it didn't. It hit you, but yeah, it hit you physically, but your armor, but your armor deflected it. So no harm, no foul. So let's go with the big guy. I think he's going to go after you too. Oh no, but you're not in melee anymore. Oh, that's right. You're in missile range.
Yeah, I stepped back.
That's right. You'd stepped back. So I guess he's going to attack Calf. Oh, that's a hit.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a hit.
That's a hit. So Calf, take 4 points of damage. And what does that look like? How was he able to get past your defenses here?
I think that, his helmet just got knocked off, and I just see kind of his face, and there's just that moment of shock, kind of just to see what he looks like underneath the helmet. And so my guard is let down, and then smack, like I don't think he actually pierces my armor, but just hits me really hard. And it's just like the brute force of it that hurts me.
Wang, got it. Okay, and finally, Alara, the woman, the other fighter. This is like we've got got fighter on fighter action here.
Well, we're smart fighters. We take out the spellcasters first. What can I tell you?
And so she's going after Baroon, and that is a miss. So that is so that's the bad guys. It is now the top of round 4. So I think Clintock and Caldas are the folks in missile range. Oh, and also, since the illusion is over, Zal doesn't need to concentrate on his illusion anymore, so he could conceivably do something else.
Yeah.
But
let's take care of missile fire first.
I think I'm gonna help out Baroon a bit, since this guy seems to not be dead, but being pretty mangled up. So I'm gonna throw a javelin towards the woman that Barun is fighting.
Okay, go for it.
And that's that's a miss for sure.
Yeah, that hits armor class 9. Her armor class is better than 9. I'm just gonna say so. Yeah, if you would like to describe how this doesn't hit, but it just seems to me like pretty obvious, like dodged.
I think I throw it and trying to focus on two things at a time. I just don't aim it quite well enough.
I think Clintock still has a bow. He wanted to shoot at somebody, or wants to do something else.
I mean, we could charm one of these two people to help us get out. But I don't know if, do you want any of them to join the party? They're both bleeding, right?
Well,
Yeah, they are both bleeding, and so it's going to be it's hard to charm someone that you've been fighting.
That's what I was thinking too.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, great. So I think Clintock is going to shoot at the big guy. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Or I don't know. I don't care who is. We can yell at him who to shoot to if we have an idea. Okay, if no
Up
one
to
has a
you. I mean,
Yeah, the big guy.
if no one has a preference, he's just gonna shoot at that big guy, and he's gonna do 22 for 5 damage.
okay. Whittling him down.
And if we're not using charm, I think Zal is gonna probably throw a dagger at him if that's possible.
Also at the big guy, because I mean, at this point, you do have those 2 hobgoblin guards that have re-entered the fray.
I'm kind of hoping that if we take out everyone, the hobgoblins can be subdued, but I may be wrong.
Up to you.
Yeah, so I think he's gonna shoot at the big guy. He's gonna throw his +1 dagger.
Oh, okay. Throw in the magic dagger.
And I don't know what the range situation is, but I'm assuming it's not short.
You're in range. You're in range.
Okay, so he's just gonna add 1 for the bless. And he rolled an 18 for 4 damage.
That
Oh.
hits. That hits. That hit armor class 1, and that is the target number.
That lucky, his lucky +1 dagger. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like it does hit like every time. It's really funny. Yeah.
5 damage.
4 damage, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh yes, 4 damage. Excuse me.
I
Yeah.
think, I believe, I don't know, I can't see
Yep.
it, but it seems like he already applied. Yeah.
That was already okay. So the guy in the man in black is he's still up. He's still fighting, but yeah, he's definitely been taking a beating here. So that's been missile fire. That's so I guess it's back to melee. Barun, why don't we go to you and your continuing fight against the woman in chainmail and battle axe.
All right then. I'm gonna keep doing what I always do. Here we go. +1. And that is a 13, so that's probably not that would, oh, that hits armor class 4. I think
That hits
it's a
armor
7.
class 4, and her armor class is actually 5, so that's a hit.
Okay, so that is 7 damage on that woman. I gave her a chance.
She is still up. She is
Good.
still up. And are we there yet? Not yet. Okay. Basically, she's got one more chance to make a morale check. And let's go back to the fighting against the guy in armor. Caldas, you want to? Oh wait, you've already. Oh, that's right. You already threw. Sorry, Kef.
Yeah, I'll make an attack with my sword. Okay.
Oh, that's a hit.
That would hit, and for 10 damage.
That bless is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, that's a really cool spell. Yeah.
It is a good spell. It is a good spell. Okay, he is still up.
Wow.
That I take it everyone. We got everyone. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make some morale. I'm gonna make some morale checks here. So, Hobgoblin passes. Second Hobgoblin passes. Fighter passes. And finally, the big guy.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oh, I'm only rolling 1d6. Hold, I'm sorry. I thought I was over the 2d6. I'm gonna just redo those. I was hitting the wrong button. Okay, Hobgoblin 1. That's a pass. Hobgoblin 2, also a pass. Female fighter is a pass. And finally, yep, the big guy is a pass. Yeah. So you got to roll high to fail morale. The higher your number, the better. You want to roll under it to pass. Okay, so they are all continuing to fight. I think, I think that the goblins, I think they just realized. I think they were they were hobgoblins were standing there. Zal's kind of there, and I think he might have forgotten those hobgoblins were there. So I think one of the hobgoblins is, and they're not going to shoot at him. I think they're just going to. One of the hobgoblins is going over to attack Zal, and one of the others is going to. I think the other one is going to attack Caldas, who are the two people closest in range, and they're putting down their bows and they're using their scimitars. So first attack against Zal. What is Zal's armor class?
It's 8. 8.
It's 8, so that is a miss.
Ah.
And the second attack is against Caldas, and that is a 13. And that hit armor class 5, so that is also a miss.
Okay.
Man in Black is fighting Calf. Natural 20.
No.
So a natural 20 does. So natural 20 is an auto hit, and it's gonna that's gonna do max damage, which is 11 points.
Okay.
Is Calf still up?
Yep. I have 4 HP left.
Okay. And finally, the other one is attacking Baroon, and that is a solid miss.
Okay.
I'm kind of picking up the pace here just because I want to end this combat.
Yeah.
Because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So it is. That's the bottom of round 4, top of round 5.
I think Zal is going to immediately cast shield.
Okay. Zal, shields up, Captain.
Okay.
Um,
Clintog's got to shoot the big guy, I guess. Still, that's who we
Okay.
shot last time.
Go for it.
Oh.
Ooh, natural 20. Nice.
Yeah.
So max damage on that shot.
So that is 6, 7.
Okay. So who wants to go next? So Caldas, you are you're in melee with a hobgoblin.
Yeah, I'm gonna No, I'm gonna throw my last javelin to the big guy still.
Okay, go for it.
That's 14 armor class 3.
That
Armor
is
class
just
3.
barely a miss. I'm going to say that one again. You hit it, but
No.
this time it
Well,
bounces off his armor.
The +1 to blessing is also to the attack roll or just
It
the
is.
damage?
It is. His
So
armor class
that's,
is 1.
Oh,
He is AC 1.
damn it. Okay. Well, hold
so-
on. You get +1 to your missile weapons when you're in short range. Right?
Oh, that's true. You are in short range.
Aren't you in short range?
You are in short range. That's true. So that's a hit. Thank you.
that barely hits, yeah.
I forgot about the range modifier.
That's 4 damage then.
That's 4 damage. Yeah, he's not looking too healthy at this point.
Oh,
Although he is
man,
still
that
up.
guy's-
Yeah, this guy's tough.
Calf, why don't there's a
Yeah, I'll try and take another
there's
whack at him.
you're at the point where you could conceivably take him down in one blow at this point.
Now let's hope. Nope, that's
Nope.
not going to be it.
He heals.
You're right. I accidentally took out my potion of healing and like threw it in his
No,
face.
no. It's just
No.
it's just he's learned to anticipate your movements.
Yeah, that's right.
And Baroon, you're still fighting the the
Alright.
female. You're still fighting the woman fighter.
Oh, I should have had Clean Talk come and help you. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Athletics. No. That's a miss.
she's AC 5, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be a miss.
That's a miss.
Okay, bottom of round 5. So Hobgoblin attacks Zal. And
Oh.
I think even with a shield, that's gonna hit.
Armor class 2.
I'm just gonna double check, but I think a 19 is gonna hit armor class 2. 1 + 1, yeah, that hit armor class -1. So yeah, that's a hit.
Okay.
They are doing what? They're doing D6 damage. So Zal takes 2 points of damage.
Okay.
The other one is fighting Caldas. That's a miss. The man in black continues to fight Calf. Ooh, that's another hit.
Oh my god, I didn't realize Zal was in such bad shape already. Whew.
Okay, Calf, take 8 points of damage from this hit.
Yeah, I'm down.
You're down. Okay. Calf, please roll a D4.
4.
4. Okay.
I can only hope high is good.
High is not good, as much as I hate to say it.
I'm dead, right?
Yeah, you're dead.
Oh, okay.
So long, Calf. Calf, we hardly knew ye.
Yeah.
I mean, you are fighting a 7th level fighter, but sorry, man.
Well, I think finally, just that massive sword stroke, and he just runs me right through, and you just see the life just drain out of Calf.
I'm sad. But this is old school Essentials, where characters often don't have a super long lifespan. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I think that was the bad guys. It is now top of round 6. Yes.
Given the time, I think that will be also the super cliffhanger for next session, maybe.
Okay. Okay, that we can end there, or we can just, if you'd like, we can just hand wave it, because I think you're probably going to basically he's got 5 hit points left. So if anyone gets another hit on this guy, he's going to go down. If he goes down, basically all of the other combatants are going to surrender. So
I want to try that.
one more. I know we're at time. Want to just like finish this round, and then I'll do the recap at the start of the next session when we pick it up there, or I'll give a recap. I'll give a recap via email or something like that.
Avenge Calf. Oh, and Clintock can have a go. I mean, this is pretty dicey because Zal could go down also. Zal's got 3 HP at this point, so I'm totally in favor of the hand waving. Because I don't want to tell Jim. That's gonna be an awkward question.
That's true.
You trusted us with your character for
Don't
one
watch
session.
the end of the
We
video,
killed you.
Jim. It gets really boring at the end. You don't have to watch the end of the video.
I'm gonna hand wave this. I'm going to say that in the next round, like when Calf goes down.
Well, can Caldas get a chance? She wants to roll.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna step over and whack at him with my Warhammer, seek the horror of Mr. Calf's death. And that I hit armor class 0.
And you hit him, and you did 7 points of damage, and he had 5 hit points left. So he's down. The hobgoblin and the other woman surrender. So I'll tell you what your treasure is afterwards, but you tend to Calf. Calf is dead. He's just been, that sword went through Calf's heart. Calf is gone. So you take quick stock, and you interrogate the woman, and she's basically a bodyguard for the guy in the suit. He was the slave lord. She was a bodyguard for him. So you search the place, and you find a bunch of treasure, and I'll give that to you offline via email. The other thing that you find is a map. It's a map. It's written in code, but you're able to decipher it, and it is basically it's a requisition for it's a requisition to like send up more captives to the primary stronghold of the slave lords. It is the area of the slave lords, and you perhaps need to assault it, which would be good, because the next adventure is called A3, Assault on the Area of the Slave Lords. The way this module is written, there is a dungeon level, and the dungeon level is just weird. I didn't really like it very much, so I'm just going to say that about an hour. So about an hour after this fight, that's when the prisoners who were like under that like mystical stupor, that's when that starts to wear off. So after about an hour, you're able to get these. They start to come to their senses. You do a little bit of exploration into the dungeon level. There is a dungeon level. There's like more cells down there. There's a few more guards that like now that their leader's dead, they basically run off. And there is a secret underground entrance that leads to a cave, and that seems to be where they'd actually brought these slaves in to begin with. So they didn't bring them through the front door. They brought them through this like secret cave entrance that went through a cave complex, and you capture one of the guards that was down there, and they show you where to go. And you're able to take all of these captives now that they're coming out of this like magical stupor. You're able to lead them all out through this back entrance and lead them all back to your lead them all back overland, back to your rendezvous point where the merchant princes pick you up, and they pick up you've freed about like 40 captives, and you have the intel as to where they were supposed to be brought to. So that concludes Secret of the Slavers Stockade.
Nice.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mike.
So thank you, folks. I normally like to do a debrief, stars and wishes. It's gotten kind of late, so if it's okay with you, I think I'm going to dispense with that tonight and just bid everyone a good night. Tim, I'm so sorry that Calf bought it, but
No, I had a great time. I had a wonderful time. It's totally cool. I mean, I think when you play a game like this, like, character death is in the cards. So, I had a lot of fun. It was great.
So I know Harry can't be rejoining. I mean, if you want to pick up and play Clintock, or if you want to redesign Clintock, or you want to bring a new character in for next time.
Yeah, no, I had thought I would just make a thief character to replace Clintock. So if you just, I don't know, send me an email, let me know like how much experience I should have.
I will,
and then
I'll do that offline.
I just have one request. I want my new character to inherit the elven cloak and boots.
100%. 100%.
Because I love that item. Okay,
nope,
that's it.
100%. And a thief, it'd be great. It'd be great with a thief. Okay, cool.
And you can get the rope too, right? Because we still have that. You're gonna be.
Yeah, there you go. I'll be tricked out. Yep, yeah. That's right.
Yep. Okay, well, thank you, folks. I had a blast. No game next week. I'm going to be out of town, so our next session is April. Looking at calendar, it's the first Thursday of April. That's the 4th, I think. 7th. It'll be the 7th.
Okay.
Cool.
Welcome, Anya.
Well, welcome, Anya. This was a blast.
It was wonderful to have you. Welcome to the party.
It was very, very fun. A very fun first session. Thank you, Mike.
Fantastic. Thanks, folks. Have a great week, and see you in 2 weeks. Good night, folks.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Night.